Yeah.
Then we have Aina Akbari, which is also the part of swords. Also in Akbarname, I put it in my book. Bede, do you want to say something about Akbarname?
Well, the Akbarname is a really interesting thing because it's got all kinds of weapons in it.
Yes.
I mean, it's not just about weapons, but in the sections on weapons, everything from cannons
Yes.
down to bows and arrows, everything from small knives up to, large swords, shields, battle axes, zachlach type crow's beak things, back to Corbin type weapons, chakri. So it's a kind of encyclopedia in that sense.
It is.
And there are 3 katars illustrated in their sheaths, and going from right to left, because that's how people would have read it.
Mhm.
The first one is a curved blade.
Mhm.
Now, I have seen the odd curved blade katar. I haven't seen very many, but they definitely exist.
Yes.
The next one is 2-pointed, so it's probably a double blade, and I've seen those as well. The third one has 3 points. This is in the scabbard, so you don't know. Was it one of those scissor type ones? Very unlikely, because most of the ones like that were made in the 19th century, the second half of the 19th century, or later, because that kind of mechanical toy, which is what they weren't a fighting weapon, it's probably influenced by European daggers that split like that, left-handed daggers that were used in fencing. I mean, they definitely could be used, but in general, that type of mechanism made them fragile. And when you look at when I say real katars, when you look at simple katars, the one thing they're not is fragile. They're incredibly robust. They're meant for very hard use.
But
And I think that
they show the Aina Akbari is very interesting. It could be that
well,
they're
yeah,
just
I mean,
triple blades, right? Forged triple
yeah.
blades.
Well, the thing is, if it was simply triple blades, it might be quite effective,
Yeah.
because then you would have a double trap to catch a sword. Like, imagine you're holding it in your left hand, you've got a sword in your right hand. Somebody swings at you, you can twist into their blade, lock it, and push it out of the way. And maybe triple is better than double.
Yes.
Double to me looks more like deeper stabbing, because the blades on the actual ones I've seen are thinner and less robust than the blades on a normal katar, which tend to be incredibly strong. I
Yeah.
mean, you really would find it hard to imagine how anyone holding that handle could put enough force into one of those blades to even slightly bend it, because they're just so strong.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, but the fact that they classified them into 3 different types, single, double, and triple, does suggest that they knew it.
Yeah.
And in certainly Hindu armorers and swordsmiths, just isolating them into workmen of Hindu religion and culture, were incredibly inventive and very, very skilled. I mean, at a level that anybody would be proud to say, my uncle made that, because they're really good. I mean, just the sheer control they have over steel,
Yes.
whether watered or laminated or just simple steel
Yes.
is really incredible. I mean,
Yes.
and the kind of artistic sensibility in how they're designed. Something that's totally practical, and there's a whole fighting style to use it,
Mm.
but it really is beautiful, and you could put it on a stand on your bookcase and look at it every day and think, what a lovely piece of sculpture that is. Not even worrying whether you could ever use it as a knife.
Yes. So Ayn Akbari is the Institutes of Akbar, written in 1590, and until it took a long time, 1602. So Abul Fazl Alami. So we talked about it. So Bede also, okay, this was this picture 10 in my book. So
Oh,
this
nice.
is from Dr. von Hofmeister collection. Again, you see, beautiful, made of beautiful patterned crucible steel, showing a hunting scene. I think it's a tiger, isn't it? Yeah, it is
Yeah,
means the tiger.
a very big tiger. The
And
tiger
the
was that
same
big.
size as the elephant, right?
Yeah. Um, but see, here we've got really elaborate carving in the woods.
Yes.
And woods is hard.
Ah,
It's not easy to carve. And I mean, you look at the gold inlays and that's wonderful,
wonderful.
but that's an accepted tradition. But carving into watered steel is hard work.
It is.
I mean, it's beautiful when you do it right. And there are some really famous ones in the Metropolitan Museum of Art and in I think it's uh, Powers Castle in Wales, where Clive settled down with all the stuff that he um, acquired while he was in India. There's some really spectacular pieces of Indian. I'm going to call it art. I mean, it's all very well to say here's a dagger for fighting, but it's a work of art, and
Absolutely.
nobody.
Absolutely workable.
I could imagine a person who absolutely hated fighting putting something like that on their wall just to look at the work of art.
Okay, guys, to just stress that, look at this elephant. On the other side of the blade, there is again an elephant and a tiger, but they look different. If you really pay attention, they're not completely the same. Look at this. Maybe I can get better picture. Hold on. Yes. Look at this one.
Yeah.
Look at the elephant. And now look at this one. Do you see the differences?
Yeah, there's slight differences.
Just
Have you ever
slightly.
noticed that in Indian depictions of elephants, the elephants always look happy?
Yes.
Remember we talked about Persian depictions of horses where the horses all had personalities? Indian artists working, whether it's in steel or in painting or whatever, when elephants are involved, there's a real personalization of the elephant.
You
Um,
know, Bede, when I watch that, I always ask myself, what a chance does a poor tiger have fighting an elephant? But when I look at the dimensions here, I think it
yeah,
has.
yeah. We should be very happy there are no tigers around like that because tigers are dangerous enough. Um, at the best of times. Uh, but yeah, a tiger that big would be a horrible shock.
Yes.
Uh,
So look at
as I
this,
say,
Bede.
the elephant looks surprisingly happy for going to meet that tiger.
Let us concentrate on the face on this tiger. Bede, do you see that?
Yeah.
Look at the mouth angle. And now
Mhm.
look on the other side. Angrier. Do you see that?
Yeah. And you can see that it's the tongue is clearly shown. You're not
Yes.
so worried about the teeth because teeth are usually covered by the gums anyway, or the
Yes.
lips.
Yes.
Um, but but the tongue, I assume that's to as an expression of the fact that it's roaring or growling or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think I think tigers don't roar so much
Yes.
as growl. Uh,
You see
it's
then
yeah,
that,
it's
but the elephant facial features of the element almost remains the same, but the
yeah,
tiger changes its feature.
yeah, quite a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Very
Yeah,
interesting.
there's yeah, it's quite amazing. I like the fact that the elephant's got a very hairy tail. Uh,
Yes, I didn't pay
elephants
attention
do
to
have
that
hairy
one. Yeah.
tails. I think that one's
Yeah,
a bit of an one. I think even the tiger's got a fluffy tail as well. If you look
yeah.
at the end of it.
Let me see. Let me see the bigger picture. Yeah, it does. Oh, yeah, it
Yeah,
does.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's got a fluffy tail.
Yeah.
We obviously like fluffy tails in that area. Uh,
And please, Pete, take a look at the decoration on the sidebar. You see
yeah,
that? How
that's beautiful.
beautiful. Look at that.
So this is Kofgari, where you get gold and hammered into a crosshatch background.
Yes. Yes.
It's there are still people in India who can do work as good as this.
Yes, they can.
They were hired by some of the reproduction arms companies in the 60s and 70s of the last century.
Yes.
And the quality of the gold work was much superior to the quality of the smiths making the weapons, because
That's true.
the technique of gold work had been handed down from father to son quite accurately. Again, in that side view, you can see how thickened the point is on that. And that's good engineering knowledge, because as the point narrows, it would become weaker. But if you thicken it, it becomes stronger.
Yeah, you're
And
right.
you still have the same narrowing profile of the blade, but you've still, in this case, if
Pictures show it clearly. Yeah, you're right. Look at this now. The
and I mean that
reinforcement.
means if we think in terms of fighting somebody in armor or something like that, but the other one is if it hits bone, it's not going to bend or anything. It's just going to shatter the bone in front of it. I mean, it might wedge itself in there, but it's a very practical and to some extent ergonomic design, because it punches the hole like a diamond-shaped hole with the first part of the blade, and then the broader, flatter part of the blade cuts the edges out to make a deeper and wider wound.
Yeah.
It's quite a well thought out design. You see this occasionally in hunting arrowheads as well, from India and Iran for that matter. So people had a good idea of how these things worked. I mean, a lot of the kind of mythology around weapons shows less understanding than the design shows that the Smiths really understood what they were doing. I mean,
And
excuse me.
interestingly, the sidebar shows this Persian concept of paradis, paradise, beautiful birds, and then a hunting scene with the tiger
Yeah,
hunting an elephant, but then this contrast to the peaceful paradise, and on the blade you see this, right?
yeah. I'm just looking at the top part of the blade where it joins the handle. Is that a tiger's face and claws either side of it, and the blade coming out between? Is that what
This
it is,
part,
or is it just
this part,
yeah,
yeah, it is
yeah,
indeed. It's a tiger's
yeah?
face. It is indeed. Yes, indeed. With eyes, with the nose. Very good
And
observation.
as I say, it's like the claws. There's a famous
Yes,
cartoon of
exactly.
the guy
Like
looking
you're
over
right.
his
It
head.
is. Indeed, it
And
is. Good observation. Ah, sadly, I can't see it here. But it is. Yeah, it is.
yeah,
Isn't it a
it's
beautiful weapon here?
it is. And again, even if you weren't interested in weapons, you could see how it was a beautiful design. I think it's important to remember that these people were, I mean, a lot of people are thinking, I can fight my way out of a bar with this or something like that. But in reality, the people that made these at this level were making jewelry for very rich people.
Yes.
I mean, it was functional jewelry. You could defend yourself with it, but it's a piece of jewelry. And
Some
they
years
used,
ago, I don't know where it was. Oh God, my memory fails me again. There was an exhibition on high-level arms and armor, mostly from the Orient, Persia, Turkey, Arab countries, India, also Asia, Southeast Asia, also Japan, but I think also some Europeans, all top level decorated. I think the title, if my memory doesn't fail me, of this exhibition, I don't know where, but the title I remember was Jewels for Man.
yes, yeah,
Beautiful
exactly.
choice of title to
Yeah,
understand, because it's also very important that that you just don't need to concentrate always, on the usage of the weapon per se, but you can look at it as a jewel, which is also
yeah,
very
it's a
interesting.
part of men's dress to display. It's displaying A, they can afford it, B, they've got the good enough taste to have something like this. It's
Yes,
like when anybody wears a jewel, they're saying three or four things at once. The important thing that you first think of, I
yes,
can afford this valuable jewel. The
yeah,
second one is in the decoration.
yeah,
I can afford something made by a master craftsman. And the third thing is the underlying meaning of the decoration. So in this case, we've got paradise down the sides and hunting at the tip. So I mean, you know, there's layers and layers of meaning in these things, and you know, this is where, you know, you get the benefit of looking at them.
The next one is also from Dr. von Hofmeister collection. Today I'm very tired, but I have been working like hell last days. I'm sorry. This is also from Dr. Alexander von Hofmeister's collection. This one is exceptional as well.
Yeah, and it's got the shape as well on the scabbard.
Absolutely.
Rare. I mean, they were all made like that originally. This is more the scabbard that you would wear it with, as opposed to the scabbard that you would put it away to store it in. It's like shirasaya in Japanese swords. You have a particular type of scabbard and fittings that are used for storing a blade. Well, in India, they had special scabbards for daggers and swords that were particularly meant so they could be stored away safely. I mean, the scabbard was to protect the blade. And I mean, often they have fittings up near the opening, the mouth of the scabbard as well. But definitely shapes were always part of the, you know, the well-designed scabbard. But have a look at the blade on that.
Yes, I'm going to show the blade. Okay.
See, that's yeah.
Excuse me. Let me just go through this. I published it already in an Italian academic journal. I'm going to link it in Academia Edu, so you can read about it.
Yeah.
So this is in Sanskrit, gold inlaid Sanskrit, which is written. I'm going to give you the translation, which was given to me by Mr. Anurag Sharma. I would like to thank him for his translation. Thank you, Mr. Sharma. So this is in Sanskrit, gold inlaid. As I don't speak Sanskrit, of course. I speak multiple languages, but not Sanskrit. So Mr. Sharma, thanks again. So the translation is, this katar, the daughter of Vajra, that pierces the heart of enemies, is like a shield to the owner, and is born in a place called Vabundya, and is to be given to Rama. Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah, yeah. And of course, the daughter of Vajra is the kind of personified thunderbolt.
Yes.
And of course, there is an object called a Vajra, which is sometimes repurposed into the handle of a dagger.
Yes.
But what it's here is, you know, the daughter of the thunderbolt, or the goddess.
Yes.
That pierces the heart of enemies, is like a shield to the owner and born. Yes. Well, see, you know, this is it. This is the weapon. Classically, self-defense. It's a shield to its owner, but the way it shields its owner is by piercing the hearts of its enemies.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And it is dated. It is dated as well. The dated is in Vikrami year 1936, which is 1871 in Anno Domini, or in Common Era, the way you want to say. Yeah. So in our time,
amazing
1871. Excuse me?
That they're making such a high quality thing so late.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be like if you could go to Zollinger and buy a perfect 16th century rapier made in 1870.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they could do it. It's just that nobody did. Whereas in India, they did it.
They did.
And the result is something that's really striking. I mean, if you didn't have the date on it, and that didn't have its stylistic features, the actual shape of the blade and the handle and everything could go back to the 16th century.
Yes. When I went to Dr. von Hofmeister a couple of years ago to, you know, do his collection and take pictures. Okay, the whole thing is 42 centimeter long. The blade is 21 centimeter. And it is a heavy blade.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at it. And patent crucible seal, let's see that. And beautiful handwriting. Mr. Sharma said the handwriting is beautiful in Sanskrit. Look at this, please.
Yeah. See, this is the thing. Every bit of the workmanship on it is super high grade. Yeah. Again, you see the multi-lobed crossbars. They don't just make them round. You can make them, quite complicated, but they actually feel good in the hand.
Yeah.
It's, I've demonstrated it to my satisfaction, because I physically can just pick one up and do that. But yeah, see, I don't see something like this would have been, 1870s would have been very expensive to have made, despite the fact that everybody talks about low wages and all this kind of stuff. It's still people's time. It's having people that are willing to do that for the money you pay it, all this kind of stuff. I mean, a Maharaja, a Raja, in the concept of Indian government, was seen to be the mother and father of his people. I mean, it wasn't to be just a simple thing of he's the guy in charge now. He's got some kind of supernatural interest in the community. So to make something of high quality for somebody like that was not just for him, but it's for the whole community, because the community sees their leader properly, fitted with weapons and everything suitable to his station. That says to everybody how important our group, our,
Yes.
state is, or whatever. It's, people were kind of projecting. It's like football teams.
Yes.
Your Maharaja was like
Yes.
a German or an Englishman's football team.
Yes.
These are the personification of your, I don't know, emotions and whatever. And this is the same kind of thing.
And a couple of things to stress,
stop.
as you Bede pointed out, in the middle you can see is etched to see the patterned crucible steel. The sides are polished blank. The blade in the middle has a midrib to reinforce it. Do you see that?
Yeah, very, very strong. It also increases the weight of the tip.
Yes.
So if it is used for cutting, it's got a lot of authority, as you could say. It's gonna strike very hard.
Bede,
But I
look
mean,
at the inlaying here and look at the contrast of here. Do you see how beautiful? And I'm happy that it is. We have many katars also with Persian inscriptions on it, some of them with Arabic inscriptions, and a few of them are in Sanskrit. I'm really happy that this one is in Sanskrit, right? So you can see
yeah,
used,
and an inscription on watered steel always makes the watered steel look better.
Yeah.
Because you have that contrast, as you were saying. It's whether Devanagari or Farsi or Ottoman Turkish, carefully done inscriptions help, and particularly when they're little poems and things like that add to the kind of mystery and the romanticism of the object. I mean, there's a lot of Persian daggers with poems on them. There's Ottoman swords, bows, all kinds of things that have little poems engraved on them. It seems very popular with daggers for some reason.
Absolutely.
Maybe because they're so personal.
Yes.
I mean, a sword is a weapon of war. A dagger, I'm not going to say it's a self-defense weapon, but I suppose it is. You were saying to me earlier that you never left the house without two knives in the good old days. Second one in case the first one didn't work, I suppose. Or it got stuck in somebody. But you have a look at they've taken the necessary shape of this blade and they've used it to frame decoration. I mean, there's nothing in there that you wouldn't need. You definitely need that groove to affect its balance and its strength.
Bede, look at these plants. Isn't it beautiful?
Yeah. I mean, that's just so perfectly executed. It just seems to naturally grow in there, if you know what I mean. It just seems to be part of the whole thing. I mean, obviously the artist that designed this, or maybe it was just the craftsman did it all by himself, which is quite possible because many of them were
what it reminds me of? As if there is like some lotus and water somehow, all right?
Well, actually, yeah, when you think of it, because there's something, watered steel looks either like water or smoke. And it's such a good background. And of course, you have this ability that you can polish the decoration so it looks as though it's a different material to the background and makes it stand out even more. And this is exactly what they've done. That the kind of line that goes up and away from the plant has been polished.
Yeah.
But all of the background is etched to make the water steel pattern stand out.
Pete,
So
take a look at here at the blade at the base of
yeah,
the
it's
blade.
like
You see-
it's like a ricasso, isn't it?
Yeah.
On a sword.
Exactly.
Though maybe that indicates that the design was meant to block that this was a blunt, strong part of the blade. I mean, you'd have to be real good to catch a sword blade there, but then these people trained a lot.
And look
Whether
at these here as well on the side. There's also some sort of, is it a flower? Are the flowers?
I think it's a flower motif.
Yeah. Very beautiful.
Yeah.
The other side, look at this side, not the other side.
Yeah. And you can see it's handmade because there's very faint differences.
Yeah.
Which are not a problem at all. We're used to fine machines making things identical, which in an age of interchangeable parts is necessary.
Mhm.
But in the good old days, it was an artist and he was doing the same artwork on different sides of the same object, but he had a little bit of variation in how he did it. I mean, he might have wanted it to look the same, and it didn't work out quite that well, but it still worked as a work of art. So you don't lose either way.
So you can see that here, this is the Arms and Armor collection of Dr. Alexander von Hofmeister in the Italian academic journal Quaderna Asiatici. I'm going to put this link, those guys who want to go and see that, you can see these katars. Then we go to the next katar.